Number 7. Colonel Petigar. Colonel Petigar commands the Imperial garrison on Aldhani. On paper, he's strict and precise, managing the Empire's massive payroll storage that funds war across the galaxy, but beneath that uniform is not a professional. It's a tyrant in disguise. To Petigar, Aldhani isn't a world with people, it's a resource to exploit. He sees the native Darnies as insects in his path. He forces them off their land, mocks their traditions, and strips their planet of everything valuable. And he does it all without guilt or hatred. He simply doesn't care if they live or die. His greatest weapon isn't violence, it's silence. The cold silence of a man who sees other lives as beneath his notice. But that silence cracks during the Aldhani heist. When rebels attack, Petigar panics. He doesn't protect his men or his facility. He orders his soldiers to fire on their own base out of fear. His terror or failure outweighs any loyalty. In that moment, his mask slips. We don't see a leader, we see a coward. Not a soldier, but a colonizer desperate to keep his power. Number 6. Commandant J-Hold Behaz. Commandant J-Hold Behaz runs the Imperial garrison on Aldhani. On the surface, he looks like a strict officer doing his duty far from the Empire's core, but under that uniform is a selfish, lazy man who cares only about his comfort and status. He treats the native Darni people like dirt, mocking their traditions while enjoying the wealth and power his rank gives him. When the rebels attack the base, Behaz completely falls apart. He doesn't act like a leader or try to protect his soldiers. Instead, he panics, sweating and begging for his life. He offers bribes, pleads for mercy, and shows the rebels exactly what he is, a coward hiding behind Imperial power. Behaz isn't evil because he's strong, he's evil because he uses his position to stay comfortable while crushing others without thinking twice. In the end, he proves that some of the Empire's worst villains aren't brutal warriors or dark masterminds. They're small, greedy men who will sacrifice anyone to protect themselves. Number 5. Orson Krennic. Director Orson Krennic is not the kind of villain who gets blood on his hands. He doesn't swing lightsabers or chase rebels down hallways. Instead, he builds weapons that destroys planets with a push of a button. In Andor, we see the scariest version of Krennic. He acts more like a boss in a big company than a monster. He tracks deadlines, manages staff, and checks budgets, all while planning mass murder. Krennic's evil isn't loud or wild, it's quiet, focused and completely disconnected from the pain he's causing. He talks about wiping out entire cities like he's talking about numbers on a chart. To Krennic, the Death Star is not just a weapon, it's his dream project, the thing he believes will make people remember him forever. He doesn't see lives lost, he sees progress. What makes him even more dangerous is that he's good at what he does. The prison camps, like Narkina 5, are forced to build Death Star parts. The destruction of places like Aldhani isn't random, it's to fuel his weapon. He pulls strings behind the scenes, and every terrible thing we see ties back to his plans. When he reads about people dying, he doesn't flinch. He sees them as numbers that prove his project is working. But Krennic isn't just a cold planner, he's part of something worse. He believes in what he's doing, so when his cold logic meets true believers, the galaxy faces something far more terrifying. Number 4. Major Petigar. Major Petigar is the kind of villain who doesn't need to raise his voice to be terrifying. He runs the Imperial Security Bureau like a cold, ruthless machine and treats rebellion like a math problem to be solved. To him, terror is not chaos, it's strategy. Petigar believes fear is more powerful than any blaster or star destroyer. He doesn't want to fight every rebel group out there because he knows that's a waste of time. Instead, he makes sure that resisting the Empire is so dangerous that most people never even try. His most infamous plan is the Gorman Massacre, where peaceful protesters are tricked into looking like violent threats. It's a lie so perfectly crafted that the Empire turns it into a victory speech before the bodies are even buried. Petigar doesn't just cover up murder, he makes it part of the Empire's brand. When people under his command torture prisoners or destroy whole communities, he listens with a calm face and nods like he's reading a business report. He treats pain like numbers and loss like logistics. His praise sounds more like a company meeting than a war crime. Number 3. Dr. Gorst. Dr. Gorst is one of the most terrifying people in the Empire because he hides evil behind a calm smile and a clean, white lab coat. He isn't loud or violent like other villains. Instead, he uses science and technology to cause pain in ways that feel quiet but cruel. He works on Narkina 5, a secret prison where the Empire does its worst experiments. His room doesn't look like a torture chamber, looks like a hospital, clean and bright, and somehow makes everything worse. Ghost is most known for creating a sound-based torture device. It plays recordings of children from an alien planet as they die in terror. These sounds are so horrible they break a person's mind in minutes. But the most chilling thing isn't the machine, it's how Ghost talks about it like a scientist doing a school project. He explains which age group's screams hurt the mind the most, like he's studying insects under a microscope. When he tortures Vix Kalin, he speaks softly and kindly. He tells her this is part of a helpful process, as if he's helping her heal. But every word he says pulls her deeper into fear and madness. Ghost never gets angry or shouts, and that's what makes him scarier than most villains. He truly believes he's doing good work. He's not just using science for evil, he's proud of it, and that's what makes him unforgettable. Number 2, Cyril Karn. Cyril Karn starts as someone you might actually understand. He's a young security officer who believes he's doing the right thing. He wants to stop crime and keep order, and at first, that doesn't sound so bad. But the sad part is that Cyril never stops thinking he's a good guy. He follows orders without asking questions, hoping someone important will finally notice him. Deep down, he's just a lonely son trying to make his overbearing mother proud. His journey begins with a murder case he wants to solve, but instead of finding justice, he becomes obsessed with proving he's useful. The obsession makes him ignore the truth and hurt innocent people just to cover up his earlier mistakes. As things get worse, he starts acting more like a villain. He arrests people who did nothing wrong and blames rebels for problems he caused. And through it all, he still thinks he's saving the world. The scariest thing about Cyril is that he never sees what he's become. He believes he's protecting civilization, but he's really helping destroy it. He turns into the kind of evil that looks normal on the outside. By the end, Cyril shows us something truly frightening. He's not evil because he wants power or revenge. He's evil because he's blind to his own actions. And compared to what's coming next, even Cyril's quiet madness feels almost harmless. Number 1, Dedra Meero. Lieutenant Dedra Meero is the perfect Imperial officer, brilliant, dedicated, utterly without mercy, and absolutely convinced of her moral righteousness. She doesn't commit evil in spite of her beliefs, she commits evil because of them. Meero's intelligence makes her infinitely more dangerous than any brute force villain. She sees patterns others miss, anticipates rebel moves 3 steps ahead, and turns their own humanity against them with surgical precision. Her orchestration of the Ferrix funeral trap reveals her true genius for cruelty. Meero doesn't just want to capture rebels, she wants to break their spirits by desecrating everything they hold sacred. She turns a mother's funeral into a massacre, then uses the survivors' grief as evidence of their guilt. The most chilling aspect of Meero's character is her complete lack of doubt. While other villains rage or scheme or justify their actions, Dedra simply acts. She views rebellion not as political opposition, but as a disease to be eradicated through any means necessary. Her interrogation techniques go beyond physical torture to psychological warfare. Meero studies her victims' relationships, fears, and hopes, that weaponizes that knowledge with clinical precision. She doesn't just want information, she wants to prove that resistance is futile. If you want more deep dives into the darkest minds of the Star Wars universe, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. It helps us bring more chilling stories from the galaxy's shadowy corners straight to you.